Welcome back, Nerd Squad. My name is Roya Destroya, and this is Top 10 Nerd. Today we are revisiting the Dark Lord and taking a look at some facts about Harry Potter's #1 adversary. We're gonna fill in some holes for those of you who've only watched the movies, but for those of you who have read the books, we got some cool stuff for you too, so hang in there. So let's take a look at the top 10 you-know-who surprising facts, and this is part 2. In the number 10 spot, we have his name. A more well-known fact about Voldemort's name is that it translates to Flight of Death or Theft of Death in French, even though Rowling claims she just made the name up randomly. But a less known fact about the name is that it's shared with an evil sorcerer named Voldemortist, a huge adversary of Merlin in medieval times. He would bewitch the good and tempt the evil to develop an army to fight Merlin, and his story has quite a few parallels with the story of Harry Potter. Coming in at number 9 is the reason he is so cruel. You know who is excessively evil without much of a redeeming quality at all. But a look at his backstory may clarify a few things for you here. His mother, Merope Gaunt, used the love potion to seduce his father, Tom Riddle Sr. When she stopped using the love potion, Tom ran off and abandoned his kid. There is a common misunderstanding that he is unable to feel love because he was conceived under a love potion, when in truth it's confirmed by Rowling that it's more so symbolic. Everything in his life lacked love, even his parents. That's bound to do some damage to a kid. Next at number 8 we got who he tried to recruit to his team. Another strange point to make note of is that for all his love of purebloods, you know who wasn't above offering Muggleborns a place in his army. He did exactly this when he offered Lily Potter a place among him and the Death Eaters. Can you imagine how the stories would have been different if she lived, and if she became a Death Eater, and met Harry later in life? Seems like Rowling missed a pretty good twist here. In the number 7 spot is Pyrates. In early drafts of the Philosopher's Stone, there was a character present named Pyrates. Pyrates was a Death Eater and one of the Dark Lord's right-hand men, and he was even present on the night James and Lily were murdered. He was described as a stylish man who wore white gloves that he allowed to be stained with blood. For whatever reason, the Dark Lord's accomplice was written out before the book was published, leaving Pyrates to exist only in a world of wizards we do not know. Coming in at number 6 we have his biggest fear. The seemingly fearless Dark Lord does have, in fact, one major fear that eventually helped lead to his demise, and this fear is exactly that: death. In fact, his Bogart would most likely take the form of his own corpse, or something that would easily kill him. Because he was afraid of death and how it seemed to him a humanly weakness, Harry Potter was able to become a stronger wizard than him, all by accepting his own mortality and understanding that there are things worse than death. Like, maybe you know who taking over. Next up at number 5 is the alleged Dark Mark inspiration. The Dark Mark is a symbol of he who must not be named and his army of Death Eaters. It depicts a snake coming out of a skull, and some fans have formulated theories as to where this image came from. Something about the Dark Lord doodling some designs doesn't sit well with them. The most prominent theory is that the picture is a recreation of what Tom Riddle witnessed the very first time he opened the Chamber of Secrets, undoubtedly a memory he would want to mark. Up next at number 4 is the Death Eater hoods. An extremely notable appearance of the Death Eater garb occurred in Goblet of Fire, and you wouldn't be crazy if you thought for a bit that they seemed to resemble another supremacist group, namely the KKK. The pointed hoods was a little on the nose. This was a tad controversial, and although the groups do have similarities, the outfits were changed after Goblet of Fire and the pointed hoods were removed. In the number 3 spot we have the Dark Arts Curse. If you've only watched the movies, you're probably questioning why Defense Against the Dark Arts position seems cursed. It was all too predictable to know who the bad guy was, right? Well, cursed is exactly what it is. Tom Riddle applied for the position not once, but twice, and he was turned down both times. I get it, being rejected from a job multiple times stings, but you don't go and curse the darn thing so no one would last more than a year. Coming in at number 2 is the real life parallels. From part 1 we know some of the inspiration behind the character, but in an interview with Dutch newspaper De Volkskrant, Rowling revealed that she took influence for the character after both Hitler and Stalin, aiming for him to be a megalomaniac and paranoid leader figure. When you think about it, the parallels are quite striking. There's purity and supremacy, the brainwashing of followers, and the blind belief in a perfect world that they could never attain, but tried through any means necessary. And finally, in the number 1 spot, we've got his middle name. We already know this, the Dark Lord's name is Tom Marvolo Riddle, which is an anagram for the phrase I am Lord Voldemort. But this is only possible in English. While other languages around the world have come up with equally respectable anagrams, the French, where the name even comes from in the first place, needs to equate to Je suis Voldemort. So the resulting name? Tom Elvis Jedusor. Yeah, Elvis, the Dark Lord of rock and roll. Not sure what's better, that or Levi's, the Dark Lord of denim. So those were the top 10 you-know-who surprising facts, and this is part 2. Let me know in the comment section down below who you want facts on next. My name is Roya Destroya, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another nerdy list.